Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome in. Thanks very much for joining us. It is Friday, and we're going to have a wonderful weekend. Opportunity to have a discussion with former Port Director, Mr. Joseph Woods, former parliamentarian, Mr. Elio Solomon. As we invite you to be a part of a discussion, 949-8037, 949-6990. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard. And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And, hoping that your week has been not just positive and productive, but as you are positioned to go into the weekend, it's going to be one that's prayerful, purposeful, and you are ready to embrace it too. Welcome, Mr. Joseph Woods. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Sterling, and good afternoon to the listening public. It's good to be here.
There's some places that are better, but very few, especially when you got Elio Solomon. The man who knows how to sing a song Sixpence. Elio, how's it going?
What song we can sing today? I'm always ready,
I heard him singing It Wasn't Me earlier.
You heard him, right? But what the backstory is, why was he singing that?
Don't know.
That's what we need to know.
They say not everything good to eat, good to talk.
But I think it had something to do with voting. No, he said it wasn't me.
Wasn't me? Is that what it was, Elio?
He said, I love you till I die.
Come on.
She told him you'll forget in time. Well, let's move on.
Come on, no, hang on. It's a Friday, right? Come on now.
Hey,
Happy
like
George Jones
right?
there too,
Yeah.
He sounded like George Jones there.
Yeah, I thought Susan was playing the music and tuning. That was you.
Don't get me started, bro. I heard you yesterday, by the way. I had to do a little rerun, and I heard you saying that you sing like Barcello or whatever. What the name is?
Jeez, you can't even get it right.
Yeah, look, I did my homework in case I have to flog you. So that's the first thing I can flog you. I can say, boy, that singing need working on.
No. Listen. I see my brothers bought a backhoe and 2-wheelbarrows and say I couldn't carry a tune if I had one of them to help me. So I leave that alone, my friend.
No, but you gave silence, and in all fairness, it's they say silence is seldom misquoted. So couldn't go wrong with that. But anytime, I think what we could do is we can designate at least the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'll sing on the entrance, and then that way it's a teaser, and the audience will stay with us. You see.
Boy,
they say it now over till the fat lady sing, so I'll do a substitute here today.
You know what, man? As tempted as I am to emanate Churchill sometimes with his exchange, I'll be refrained this time only because my ink hasn't dried on my papers yet. So.
Okay. All right.
No, but it's good to be able to, as people listen, to recognize that even when we're on different sides of the coin, the best example is a great football match. If English football, hooligans aside, two teams playing and two people who are good friends, each cheering for a different team, they enjoy the match. And at the end of the day, win, lose or draw, they can celebrate. right? And that's what I think we're missing sorely in the world.
But you've always been my good friend, Dwayne. But having heard you say that now, it begs the question: are you suggesting that you're on the other side? Is that what you're saying? Or somewhere down there?
What's that? Welcome to the other side.
He's on the other side. We're on the right side.
He just on the opposing side.
No.
But he has a difference of opinion. That's what he's telling us. He has a difference of opinion from us.
So I can interview
and that's
you.
fine.
Are you
hear
pro
guys
peers or
have-
not?
I hear you and Mr. Austin have a.
Well, I mean, Austin is back together again. That's a dynamic duo. Thank you for raising it. I didn't want to do a shameless plug, but now that you forced it out of me.
You got competition now.
No, compliment.
Complimentary.
It gives the populace another opportunity. Unlike some jurisdictions where you either can only listen to one place and be mindlessly, misinformed. Here in this country, we have a true democracy where you can hear everything, and then being so discerning. So our people are astute. They're very smart. They're going to be able to take
and you
sense
see
from
what,
nonsense.
What was perfect about it is that we were able to get a nice evening slot. So we didn't have to disturb the good stuff in the morning or in the midday, see?
Exactly. And then they can continue.
Yeah. So you can listen to Straight Talk at 4:30 until 6:30 from Monday to Friday.
All right.
Thanks,
If you
Dwayne.
want a good audience, right, you just advertise with us and we can tell people.
I'm doing that now.
No, man.
But yeah,
they charge me at the door.
Thank you for allowing us to come
Yeah,
today and be
absolutely.
able to share our side.
Yeah. All right. Well, for those who are maybe not fully acquainted with it, would each of you, in your respective positions as part of ACT, sort of formally introduce yourselves? Would that be fine?
Yeah.
Have me do less work, Elio. I mean, and make it succinct, Elio.
I appreciate the order. Well, I think most persons know me, but my name is Elio Solomon, and in this particular capacity, I'm working for ACT, which is the Association for Cruise Tourism, and they have me titled as Executive Program Manager. And I think that in primary, my task is, amongst other things, similar to Joy's as well, is to make sure that we can get the facts out there, get the message out, and try to deal as much as possible with, refuting the misinformation that is abound. And so thank you very much for having us here on the program today.
All right. Well, as the executive program manager,
And I am Joseph Woods. I am not an executive program manager. I am a member of ACT, unpaid member. But I do identify with their cause. So I support ACT. And, that comes from my experience working at the port for 18 and a half years. And what I learned from those years of experience. And I think that a lot of people misunderstand it and don't have a grasp on it. And I just want to be able to share the information that I have and that I believe is in Cayman's best interest.
Okay. Well, as we go into the break, right, two things. When we come back, ACT, ask you, what is it? How did it come about? Just a quick, as much to inform people, and then we get substantive into the discussion.
Sure.
What position and why and the like, right? But perhaps more important as we go into the break, now song, if I found a fountain of youth, I wouldn't drink a drop. That's a request that we have for you to sing.
I don't know that one. If you're talking about
That
them,
Alan Jackson.
you know what? Tell you what.
See, Joseph.
I'll tell you what, Sir Alden always said. He said, "Elio, how you know all them cry sounds?" So I'm good at them George Jones cry sounds.
But this one is Alan Jackson, man.
Which one? I don't. That one not ringing a bell. Maybe if you sing it.
The older I get.
Older I get. Yeah.
No, but there's that one, the All I Get, right? Yeah.
That's the same one.
It's the same song, Alan Jackson, right? The All I Get.
If you play that here, maybe I know it. I'll
Susan,
let you know.
okay, she's.
I think he could sing it.
He could sing it. See, man, I had a plan, but I got better behave because
You go.
Alright, so you can-
anything you throw at me, I can deal with it.
I just
that.
I just did, but you.
I know.
reneged.
I roll right with you. I say I'm not really sure I know that song.
Okay, Joseph, Joey, you know the song, right? Give us a.
One thing about this guy, he's I refer to him as Mr. Honesty. He's honest to the fact that it's painful. So
where is he in your company?
He would have corrected me. Wow, yeah, very good. He would have corrected me if I had made an error anyway.
Yeah. So the All I Get, right? The Alan Jackson, as he said. You know it, Joey?
I know some of it, but
let's hear
I
it,
don't
man.
know enough words in one,
All right, well,
in one straight thing to sing it.
That's okay, man.
I would have to hear the
You
song.
have to hear it?
Sing along with it.
All right. Is it there, Susan?
All I know is the older I get.
Come on.
I don't remember.
That's all?
That's it. Okay. Yeah, see, I told you. Play the song and then we'll figure it out.
Then we can come back afterwards. And
All right. We can do that, man.
Yeah.
See,
So during the
We,
break,
we can have some fun.
during
I
the
don't
break,
know.
during the
It's a
break,
Friday,
you
man.
play it for us, and then after the break, then you sing it.
play the thing. All right, listen.
Play the
Joey
tune.
Woods, Elio Solomon, I think we all recognize that in our country there's a semblance of love, and as we agree to disagree, it's always respect.
Yep.
So, gents, thanks very much. We'll tell
Always
you
love you,
when we
Dwayne.
come back. Is that another song? I love it. Is that Whitney Houston?
Sing something like, yes, I'll be over you when you're standing over me.
Good thing we don't drink.
And when you look down at the cold, cold ground I'm sleeping in, don't expect to hear me say that I still love you. Hey, see?
Look at Joey Woods.
Any more than that, you can have to pay me now.
Neil Riddick, right?
Okay, you better get on to ACT.
I should have accepted that chocolate earlier. 'Cause now it's just too late, man.
I better get flowers and chocolate when I leave in here or something.
Can I call the wife to tell her to bring it for you?
Well, I think it's only fair that I signed that little bit actually because I did somewhat unwittingly utilize your forum to give my talk show Straight Talk that airs at 4:30 to 6:30 a really good advertisement. So I think the least I could do is sing a song. You know?
And Sterling,
Yes, sir.
you know that Austin and Elio are two very good speakers.
Yeah, and when
And you notice they're speaking without even looking at any notes.
yeah, well, see, when you have
They're good.
something to offer, right? And what I
Mm.
really appreciate with Elio's courage, right? He said him and Austin are back together again, and that's good.
That's another song. Back together again.
Dwayne, I'm not sure I like where you're going with it.
I only use words.
I told you that me and you were friends.
I allow people to draw their inference. It's 2021, right? And now it's 2025. And Joey said he identifies. So this is good. All right, when we come back, ACT, Elio Solomon, and Joey Woods. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments February 22nd to the 28th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited whether you're seeking advanced skin care, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles. Dr. Wayne Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email Dr. Porter Kman@gmail.com. That's drporterkman@gmail.com. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020. Radio Kman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Kman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us, and to Elio Solomon as the Executive Program Manager at ACT, the Association for Advancement Cruise Tourism, and one of the members, former Acting Port Director, Mr. Joseph Joey Woods. Gents, thanks very much, and thanks for the opportunity at the outlet to have a little banter. It's always good to be able to laugh. We don't do enough of that.
Absolutely.
You know, and sadly, we don't encourage our young people, or children in particular, to do just the same, you know. But let's go into the break. At some point, we'll come back with the songs. Yeah, it just has to happen. I mean, you can't close a Friday out with it, you know, without some song. ACT, again, what was the impetus? What is it, if you wish to share, to what extent?
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't think that I'm necessarily the one to give it or to provide a sort of historical context on it too much. I mean, I know that it was founded quite a few years ago. I can only tell you that as far as I have found it, you know, there's been a bit of dormancy in relation to the organization, and particularly as we were ending towards 2025, there was an effort to make sure and to reinitiate things and get it going. I got involved in September. I got contacted and asked if I would like to be involved. Somewhat like Joey, I mean, I have a background with relation to the port, so at least since 2009, I've been an advocate about cruise tourism. I think it plays an integral part of our society, and ACT, amongst mixing with good, fine gentlemen like like Joey and Tim, who oftentimes appear in this talk show and otherwise with me, I've had an opportunity to learn a lot more about the industry, which only continues to strengthen my position in terms of how important it is for the Cayman Islands, and that means primarily the Caymanian people. So ACT is trying to make sure, as I mentioned earlier, to get all the facts and to be able to disseminate that information to the general public so that they can make a proper and informed decision. I think, unfortunately, what you're seeing now is a lot of excuses being made as to why things cannot be done. And I'm a firm believer that, you know, even if I want to give a simple analogy of someone building a house, we can make 1,000 excuses why it shouldn't be done, but we only really need one good reason for it to be done. Mm-hmm. And that is because we have a family that needs somewhere to sleep. And in this particular case, I've even heard some of our opponents, for the want of a better word, now doing a little backtracking. They're not making the environment the issue out in the front now. And I think in part that is because I believe we've been successful in showing that a pier and a boat parked against a pier or next to a pier is actually more environmentally friendly than dropping anchors and playing Russian roulette with whatever remains out there in Hogstay Bay. So I think that would probably be all I would say about ACT for now. And to tell you, well, perhaps I'll add one thing, because one of the accusations is that, you know, I think some media and our opposition, which includes some media, unfortunately, they're paid members of the opposition or unpaid, whichever one, that they're trying to paint the narrative that ACT is the Goliath in the room and they're the David. And I want to say that this is absolutely false. What we actually have is some of those same humble persons, some of the same persons that they claim don't make any money are the same persons that are chipping in and paying online or giving in person to say, I want to see this organization be able to carry the message out to save my livelihood. So we are not funded by a big group. We're not funded by the cruise industry. That is not the case. Absolutely false. And I want to encourage persons, as they say, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. I think the CPR groups, for example, they should be very transparent and lay out all of their books, and we'll happily go ahead and follow suit. But with that,
before we on, Joey, just since you referenced funding, I mean,
Yeah.
it's to you to answer if you wish, but as you talked about how funding, 2 quick questions. Other than the funding there and in the endeavor to set the example of transparency, how else is ACT funded? Cruise lines, government, private sector entities, companies, or otherwise?
Yeah, so we don't get any funding from the government. We have got no funding from the cruise industry. All of it comes from persons involved in the cruise industry itself, right?
Locally. Locally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your position as executive program manager is a paid position?
Well, I've actually been asked that question before, and I'm not 100% sure why people ask it, because that seems to be saying that you're a better taxi driver if you do it for free. But I have mentioned on Sandra's show that I receive a small stipend. I wouldn't really call it anything too much about getting paid.
Yeah.
It sounds like a bit too much gravitas. But I'm happy to be here, and even if I wasn't getting the stipend, I would still be here.
Yeah. Joey, thanks very much.
Yeah, man.
Okay. I joined ACT because having worked at the port, I know just how important, how critically important it is for Caymanians. And Sterling, back in the 80s, money flowed around here. You could leave high school and you could get a really good paying job, no matter what. But from the 80s until now, things have consistently gotten harder and tighter. And if you don't have a degree, you can barely make middle class income. If you have a high school education, you struggle on minimum wage. But in the cruise industry, the Caymanians that are in that don't make minimum wage. In fact, some of them can make what a bank manager makes.
And some don't make anything. I mean, the reality is.
Well, no, they're not making anything because...
Not just now, I'm talking about for a while. I mean, it's been...
Yeah.
I'll go ahead.
But let me explain. The reason why they're not making now is because the numbers have cut back. And I want to get into explaining how all of this works when they say, we not made nothing today. Well, when in the heyday of it, when we were getting 1.9 million people, we had like between 80 and 100, 120 independent taxi and tour operators operating at the port. And on the days when we did like 16 to 18,000 passengers, every one of them went home with something. And it wasn't peanuts. Every one of them went home. And many of them have always had the saying, we didn't make nothing today and stuff like that. But how many years have they been in business? Those that were saying that, I think, may perhaps said it to discourage other people wanting to get into it because it always slices the pie thinner.
You're talking mainly like the taxi and the tour,
right?
And I'm just on land part.
Yeah, because there's other segments to it, but the reason I talk about that was because that was the simplest one to speak about, the easiest one to speak about. So it's all Caymanians. They probably only got high school education, and yet they were making a very decent living. They could build their homes, they could put their kids in school. They lived really well. And on those days when we had between 16,000 and 18,000 passengers, I can tell you they went home with anywhere between $400 and $900 for the day.
If I may ask, and one of the things that I'm hoping that today's discussion, sorry Joey, go ahead.
Yeah. So now that things have gotten so bad, and I see how they are all suffering, that was my reason for joining ACT. And when some of them came to me and asked me if I would be a part of it, I said gladly. I would do what I can to help people understand what it's like and just how good it's been to Caymanians. And I know the taxi operators, the tour, and you got two different type of tours, and you have the independent one, which is the one-person tour. He got his own little 30 seat, and he takes 30 people, and that's it. And like I said, it was anywhere between 8 and 120, and now I think it's down between 60 and 80. but it used to be a lot more. And of course, then you got the Stingray City operators. Those are, again, mainly all Caymanians.
You sure?
Yeah.
On the boats?
Yeah.
Running the boats?
Well, they may have other people running the boats. No. But it's Caymanian owned. And the reason, I guess, that they're running the boats now is because the people who, and you can ask Ronnie Anglin about this, right? The local people that he employed, once they learn the ropes, they save, they got their own little boat, and they're doing their own thing. And as they grow, then the Caymanians they train open their own businesses. So yes, some of them do have foreign people with it, but there's no exception to the stay over. When you go to the hotels, and I've heard it on your show time and again, people talking about, there's no Caymanian face greeting them. And why is that? The reason for that one is that they're only paying minimum wage, and the Caymanians are not going to work for that. So for the hotel to stay open, they have got to hire expat.
Yeah.
Let me just supplement something that Joy said, which I think is a distinction that's very, very important. Because if you or someone says, yeah, but some days they don't make any money, I think that is something that when it goes out into the public, irrespective of how
these are the operators have said that why I repeat that they themselves.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, irrespective of what the intentions are, I think many persons in the general public will perceive that as, that's not good. These people aren't making money. But I think it's important to draw a distinction with a difference. Very, very important. It is a matter that industry, like a lot of others, is business owner, and then you have employees. And in many cases here, you have to look and understand that many of those persons are in fact business owners.
They're self-employed.
So they're self-employed. So let me again draw the distinction. So one of the things I do is construction. So I could go out right now and maybe I can get a job. Bam, you just make $15,000, but maybe tomorrow you don't have work. And I could cry that today I don't have work. As opposed to some of those same persons like Joy is talking about, say on the boats, they have employees, and those employees are going to get paid whether there's something to do or not, arguably, or the business goes out of business. So I just think that's important to get out there so that the public don't think that everybody's starving to death because they're not making money.
And then we come back and we'll continue. Joy Woods, Elio Solomon are our guests. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. But I know where I going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Celebrate Valentine's Day with an unforgettable night of music and inspiration. The 2025 Cayman Arts Festival presents the world-renowned Mark de Lisa Singers and the beloved First Baptist Church Choir coming together for a powerful gospel concert. The award-winning MDL singers have shared the stage with legends like Lionel Richie, Alicia Keys, and Diana Ross. Now they join Pastor Dave George and the First Baptist Church Choir to deliver a night of faith, love, and music. Friday, February 14th at 7 p.m. at First Baptist Church. Tickets are just $40 for adults and $15 for students. Call 922-5550 or email enquiries@caymanartsfestival.com for more details. Don't miss this extraordinary event, sponsored by Butterfield Bank.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and to Joey Woods and Elio Solomon for sharing. Just as we were going into the break, there's a couple of messages on our WhatsApp that we want to read as they are. If you want to share, either you, before I do, let me know. And thank you for the opportunity. And I think from what you have inferred, perhaps our intent now going forward, picking up on what Elio shared earlier, there's a lot of misinformation for whatever reason. Maybe we can, in this country, change the narrative and go back to what I think we were honest in our discussions publicly. We're looking at trying to find collaborative approaches, and when we disagree, like I said earlier, we had a banter that showed we may be different in our perspective, but our desired outcome is the same: a better, safer, not just economically, political, but socially stable as well, so that economic prosperity can benefit us, right? With that said, is there something that you can speak to as to why there seems to be this continued combative sort of approach, that side, this side, the vitriol that emanates from every comment, the notion that we're speaking but nobody listening?
Well, I can offer up something on that. And first of all, let me deal about the honesty in the discussion. It's just like me coming on here and saying that I make a stipend. There might be some person that's, yeah, I knew it. But I can guarantee you that I heard it from the horse's mouth, as they say, that the other group got stipends, and I would say that went way beyond stipends. And just because they don't say it doesn't mean it isn't happening.
Right.
But
I can say,
wasn't me.
And again, honestly, like I said, that aside, that's only to offer some equality and transparency, because quite frankly, I'm not sure that what really hinges on that.
Right, but just to compliment you, hopefully people wouldn't malign you because but look at people who work for NGOs, for charities, right? Mm-hmm. They are volunteers, but they're also paid employees. Your point is, if you do the tax for free or get paid, is you do a better job.
We try to make it when it's convenient. When the working man himself, who refuses and cannot afford to work for free, would try to make it a convenient argument when it is convenient.
Yeah.
But like I said, honestly, I don't think anything hinges on that per se. But just to put things in equality and in transparency, I would make that point. I think that if you look at this discussion, my honest take on it, based on all the information that I've had in the research, and I mentioned this before, when I was younger, at 10 years of age, I worked on the tenders. And it was a wonderful opportunity, and it was a way that, coming from humble beginnings, I was able to get involved in cruise tourism and actually be able to buy lunch at school. But I can tell you that as far as I'm concerned, as I look at around the persons that are in this argument, many of them I know from, for example, even in my circle, from hanging out at Sunset House and playing dominoes every evening. A lot of them are friends with the owner of the tenders. And even the person who right now is heading up Sustainable Cayman, her husband was involved with the tenders. And I think this initially started out because these persons become, for whatever reason or another, I will take a little jump. For whatever reason, they wanted to protect the tenders. Because if you look at the introduction of peers, I want you to understand that there's a scale. And on one side is at least 2,587 Caymanians. On the other side is the tenders. And why do I say that? Because everyone on one side of that scale wins when you get peers, and there's only one loser when you have them, and that's the tender business. And without pretty much fear of contradiction, a lot of those persons are around that group there, and so therefore it's like I'm protecting my friend, and that does become an emotional argument. And this is why you will not hear Sustainable Cayman, you will not hear CPR wanting to address the tenders. And I think anyone that pulls themselves away and really looks at this very objectively, no person's involved, is going to ask themselves, let's talk about the environment. Which one is better for the environment? A ship that's parked or a ship that is running with its thrusters on? We're going to say the ship that's
parked. And anchor down.
Then when we say one is tied to a pier and the other one is dropping anchor and has to haul it up and tear up reef, like happened in 2014, destroying 16,000 square feet, or wraps it on the rocks that stays there for a month until Mother Nature lets it go. I don't care. You don't have to have too much thinking involved to see that a park shipped against a pier. And by the way, I heard something said yesterday to suggest that to build the piers would damage 23,000 acres or something like 23 acres. I don't have no idea where those numbers come out from. Encourage you to try to ask some questions. So any way you look at it environmentally, it makes sense. And economically, we have little piers in Frank Sound. We have them all around the island. And it's common sense why you have them.
But with respect to the analogy you gave relative to the anchorage or the pier, in the construction of the pier, numbers aside, to what extent, though, can we say that during the construction, the footprint of the pier thereafter, the environmental impact on the country, could that be irreversible?
Great question. And first of all, I want for people to understand, because again, the image has been painted. We had a good comment made by Ms. Katrina Anglin, who attended one of our programs, and she said that she was deliberately misled by CPR to believe that there was pristine coral down there. So in this case now, we're taking it from her, a person who was anti-pier until she got the facts. And I want the public to know, I am Caymanian first and foremost. I can argue with a lot of people. I've done a lot for Caymanians and I continue to do it. I'm not going to do anything to damage the environment. And when you go down there and you look at where the piers are going to be built, it's pretty much a moonscape. And so in terms of the piers, it allows for the flow of water, it allows for the flow of sand, and not only that, it is conducive for life. It allows life to thrive down there. Corals grow. We've seen it in some of the other Caribbean islands. We've taken pictures of it. So anyone who is looking at it objectively, and I wish that we could do that, and this is part of the challenge in this country, right? Because we are small, and on one hand, logically, you could think, well, because you're so small, you should be able to make changes very quick. But from your involvement and my involvement in politics, you will see that one of the things that challenges that is the proximity. Because you are so closely connected with your constituents, that in itself can be a humbug. And I think it's the same thing happening now. If I know that something, if I heard that Radio Cayman was getting rid of you, it's like almost my logic goes out, because I know Dwayne, I love Dwayne, he's a nice guy, and that's the first thing that's capturing me. But I'm saying to you that when it comes to these things, and whether it is a good termination of my friend, which hopefully never happens.
Did it tell you when?
No.
So I'm just checking.
Whether it's the termination
you're the last one to know, you know.
or whether it's to deal with the peers, we really need to set the emotions aside. I want you to understand the owner of the tenders is my friend. And many of the people that sat there and played dominoes, who are now they have nothing else to say other than vote no. They are my friends too. But I believe that we have to make the decisions that is best for this country long term. And we can start with the environment and look clearly. Everything about a pier is more friendly for the environment than what we have at present.
True.
Yeah. Dwayne, look at Cayman Brac. Cayman Brac cargo pier is on pilings. And the damage done there? Did it cause any sand to erode? And there's sand around it. Did it cause any erosion there? How many years has that been in that way? They don't have a solid pier like we have in Grand Cayman for the cargo. They got a pier on pilings. And it has caused no shift in anything whatsoever. And the storms and the nor'westers have all gone through. And it hasn't created any havoc whatsoever.
All right.
So I think the fears that people got there are fears that were instilled in them by people that they trust. But those people that they were trusting didn't really know the facts, and they don't really, I mean, that's not their expertise anyway.
Right. So when you come back from the news break, let's hear the facts.
And I have one supplementary thing to say on his comment really quick before you go to the break. Where is not the perfect example? You talk about the piers. Let's look at the present cargo dock. That is a solid block of concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And even that hasn't caused the world out there to end. So I am saying, just as Joe is saying, that I can assure you that what is more environmentally friendly, understand that the 16,000 square feet that were destroyed in 2014, we would destroy less. But even then, if you even were going to destroy 16,000 square feet to build a pier, at least it would be done and over with. You're not taking constant risk of the same thing happening because people are dropping anchors every time they come here.
All right. Good place to pause. Go to the news. We hear more when we return. I ask you to join us.
Information, entertainment, inspiration.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac.
Since 1976 till now.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
Calling all kids, you're invited to a special kids-focused astronomy event Saturday night at the walking track of the Truman Bodden Sports Complex. President of the Cayman Islands Astronomical Society, Tyann Miller, said the event will give kids priority viewing all of the planets that are currently spottable in the skies. It's tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Make sure to follow the CIAS on Facebook, as the event could be cancelled if there is more than 50% cloud cover. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Hamas has released the names of 3 hostages due to be freed on Saturday in exchange for Palestinian prisoners in Israel after days of fears over the future of the ceasefire. Israel has said it will resume bombing if the 3 are not released on time. The warning came after Hamas said it was postponing the releases in response to alleged Israeli violations of the ceasefire. U.S. President Donald Trump said the ceasefire should be scrapped if Hamas did not release all the hostages held in Gaza by midday on Saturday. And President Zelensky and Vice President J.D. Vance are currently meeting in Munich. A spokesman for the Ukrainian president has confirmed the talks are taking place in the basement of a 5-star hotel in an upmarket area of the city, about 3 miles from the Munich Security Conference where both leaders spoke earlier today. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or build a fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
In the early 1900s, the sister islands enjoyed a relative prosperity, with the cultivation and subsequent exports of coconut being the primary industry, as Commissioner Sanguinetti would note during his 1902 visit.
Business seemed brisk. There has been a very large coconut crop, such as not born for years, and the carrying capacity of the island vessels to deal with the export of nuts have been shipped between October and February last.
The coconut industry would continue to expand with the expansion of plantations into large tracts of unused land.
Information from this historical vignette was sourced from Founded Upon the Seas, A History of the Cayman Islands and Their People by Michael Creighton and the New History Committee.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and welcome you to the discussion with our good friends from ACT, Elio Solomon and Joey Woods. Gents, we have a caller online as we go to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thanks for sharing.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
How are you today?
Not too bad, and good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I want to say happy Valentine to all three of you. And I wanted to do this from Monday when OC was on, but things happen. and on Wednesday, things happen. Anyway.
Well, we're glad that you're able to just call in today and tell us about it.
Well, let me just interrupt you to say happy Valentine to you. You probably deserve it more than the three of us up inside here. Happy Valentine, Mom.
Yeah, okay. I thank you for that. I thank you very much for that. On Friday and Saturday, but in particular Saturday, when my friend and I were out, and we got this lady running into the area where we were and saying, about the tsunami was going to hit us in about a half an hour, and we also have a earthquake. Now, after that, about people where we were, I'm going to tell you where we were. We were at Peppers because we like Burman band. We like all the bands, but Burman is our favorite. And up in there usually be packed with tourists. And they were frightened. They didn't know what to do. So some looking for their phones, and their phones were in their hand and things like that. And everybody was, getting out of there. So when I heard Susan, and she was giving out the reports and stuff, thank you, Susan. Thank you. I talking about Susan from Radio Cayman. I just spoke to her, but I didn't get to tell her this. I want to thank her very much. I even felt better when she was talking about the tsunami, and I felt even better yet. My friend and I helped some tourists, but I even felt better yet when she gave the all clear. And my friend said to me, my friend, I can't swim, I said, what that got to do with a tsunami? Anyway, it wasn't a joke. It was a reality that all of us should take a warning. And people went on about, tsunami not going to hit Cayman and blah, blah, blah. That's what they said during 2004 as well. But I thank Susan very much. She made a lot of us feel very, very good after she gave the all clear. And I also want to wish her, and I know my friend would do the same, a happy Valentine. Also, my dear, I heard the gentleman speaking and about the peer. Now, I, for one, not for the peer. And I'm going to state my reason, and this is my opinion. First of all, nobody is telling us. They all talk about the facts and the facts and the facts. Nobody is telling us out there how much this is going to cost, how much this is going to cost the island, how much is this going to cost the younger generation, because it would be, I know you'd be paying for that forever.
Okay, can I say something right there, Ma'am? I want to answer each one of your questions just as you bring them up, so that the answer goes with the question, if you don't mind. Can I do that?
Let me explain something. I've been on many cruises with many islands as well, even to the Mediterranean and Alaska, and I have not seen a lot of the islands with piers. And I've been to, the last one I went on was to Roatan, Honduras, and Belize, and about there. Roatan did not have a pier because of the shallow of the water.
Roatan got piers now.
Roatan got piers.
And they had them from way back in 2009 because that was one of the places we visited.
Roatan has 2 piers.
Okay.
2 different piers.
I'll leave it at that. No.
I just did an Alaskan cruise a year ago, that has every stop that we went to had piers.
Right. So since we got a mic, let's let the caller have it, and then we can obviously, if she doesn't want to engage. Go ahead, Mom.
I would have to leave because I got to.
Yes, ma'am. You go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, but you can go on and say I'll still listen on the radio on my way there.
All right.
And at that time they didn't, but Carnival had a beach away. Carnival Cruise Line had a beach away from these pairs that you say they have. I don't know. That was my last cruise that I went on, and I had 11. I am promising myself some more because I like ships. I like the water anyhow. Period.
Very good.
And I took a tour, and the Honduran people were not too pleased with what Carnival had done them. They had their own beach. They carried their own barbecue grills, their own chairs, their own everything. So it wasn't giving Honduras any money. They weren't getting any money. I guess they would have to. They probably had to do money for being there. I don't know. I didn't ask, but the tour directors that we had on this bus, which we all enjoyed very much, they said, well, it's a possibility, but not that we know, but we don't get anything from Carnival. I'm glad to hear that they do have piers. And I've been to another island that had piers right in town area, and this is my reason. Right in the town area, and the people got off, and they walk around with their cameras, and they took some pictures, but they never patronized the tours. They never no, one bus. It was 7 buses was lined off there, hoping to get a trip. They didn't patronize the cabs, and certainly not the restaurants, because the ships was right there, so they turned right around and went right back board those ships to get their lunch, dinner, or breakfast. They serve many meals, so whatever they were going to eat and to drink. Now, that's my reason, and I thank you for listening. And Cayman, I would have to say, is overspending all the time, that many people, even older ones like me, is saying that it's not going to be long before we are broke. So it's not only about the $60 million or $75 million school that is not necessary for approximately maybe 180 to 200 children. Now they're talking about the dock. How much debt are we going to be put in?
Miss, can I ask you a question?
I'm going right now.
No, I just want to ask you a question before you go. If the cruise passengers were paying for the dock and not one cent of the debt was placed as a burden on Cayman, would you support it?
Let's say the cruise passengers was paying for the dock. Okay,
yes, ma'am.
Then what are they going to give the government? They have to pay for per person, each passenger, if they come shore, and if they do not come shore, they still have to pay.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
What is the government going to get?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Sergio, I want you to explain out that financial model, but since the caller respectfully said she needs the bill, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Honest and candidness, ma'am.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Excellent call. Excellent call.
And I want you to expound on that financial model, how they would pay for it, right? We do have a caller. You're not going to forget your train of thought? Because we can.
I got a note.
You got a note, say? All right, yeah. Good when we can read from the script, eh? That's good. All right, let's go take this call.
No, I just made a note of her question.
Yeah. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hi, afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
And to you, man. How are you today?
I'm good, man. Afternoon, Mr. Joey. Afternoon, Mr. Elio. It's Johan Moxham. Hope all is well.
All is good. Thank you for calling.
All right.
No, just it's your show, and CPR had a segment yesterday, so I don't want to time and all the rest of it. I just wanted to address one issue. I wasn't listening to the show prior to calling, but I just got a bunch of messages about certain things that have been said to date. And I would just say, from my personal perspective, and I think as Caymanians, we can agree to disagree respectfully. On behalf of CPR, I think we all want a Cayman that is successful, where Caymanians are employed, where Caymanians are benefiting and participating and are the face of the tourism product, whether it be cruise tourism, whether it be stay-over tourism. But obviously there's a national debate that's going on. The one request that I would make on behalf of both sides, but especially us, I understand that Mr. Elio alluded to the fact that, or stated that there were persons from CPR that were getting paid. Mr. Elio, Mr. Joey, I can say to you and to the general public, that is a categorical misrepresentation of the facts and a complete lie. No such thing has happened previously. No such thing is happening now. And if it was, I'd be aware of it. So instead of misrepresenting the facts and effectively casting aspersions on the character of persons, we know that Mr. Elio is getting paid. He's probably the only person that's getting paid, and that's okay because that's what he does professionally. But to say that positions are being taken because CPR individuals or supporters are getting paid, that's just factually incorrect, and that's the only reason why I called in, because you guys need to be having your time to make your submissions and to use the time on Radio Cayman to your advantage in the same way. This is not a contentious call. This is merely a request to cease and desist with misrepresenting facts, to paint a false narrative, because, again, I can categorically state nobody from CPR, and I would know. I'm not on the board of directors. I'm not part of the management, but I am a supporter and one of the original founders of the CPR movement. I would know if anybody was being compensated for their time, their messaging, or whatever they do. So let's just agree as gentlemen, in the best interest of the country, that we will avoid that.
Johan, I compliment you, but just for clarity, right? And I'll ask and then add, if you're not on the board or in management, is there really, I mean, how would you know?
How would I know? Because I'm one of the founders of CPR. There was like 7 of us that were founders. So you can have representatives that are on the board of directors that are a part of the NPO, but conversations take place. And just because you're not on the board doesn't mean that you're not familiar with the inner workings of an organization. I think that is a fair comment, whether you are on the board of ACT or if Mr. Joey's been sorry, Mr. Joey, you were the former acting director of
the port.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that Mr. Joey has to be on the board to have knowledge of certain things, but this is Cayman, and if there's something going on within the organization, those of us that are founders are familiar enough and respected enough where those sort of instances.
Right. And I appreciate it, sorry, Joey, but and that aside, the other thing I find strange, someone gets paid to lobby for or against something or employed, does that matter?
I just think if that's what you're doing professionally, that's your job, knock yourself out. But just because you're getting paid and you will say and do anything to justify your compensation doesn't mean that a grassroots.
But you see, this is where Johan gets very.
Let me get back to you. Let me just say something, Mr. Moxham. I was accused of being paid.
No, sir. Can I just say something? I don't know.
I was accused. Mario Rankin accused me of being paid. In fact, say he deleted one of my posts one time because I'm a paid person for ACT. I am not. I have never been, and I probably never will be. Right. Okay? But, and I did not allege that anyone from CPR was being paid.
Here's something, John, to your point, right? Here is where I want us not to get caught up with the red herring. Being paid and not being paid, transparency and accountability and putting the cards on the table is great. I don't have an issue. To Johan's point, if you are paid mouthpiece for something, you could probably champion that until you're not paid.
He's saying that through one side of his mouth.
But what I want us to do is get to the facts. Why we are for, why we are against. If we are for, this is what it is, right? And then, Joey, I got to get you to beat up on Johan after Johan departs. Johan, what else you want to say?
No, I want to respect the fact that I'm not the segment, so you guys continue to do what you need to do, which is lobby.
Right.
Same thing you're doing, Johan.
Yeah.
Flapping your lips.
All right. Thanks very much, Johan. All right.
No, let me just say something, because again, you want me to make the same sort of speech.
No, I want us to get the facts. You say what you want to say. The mic is yours now.
This is why we have to talk. This is why we need to have both parties in the room. Because on one side he's saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter," but yet you're talking about it as if it matters, right? Anyone can pick up the phone and call right now and say, no one is absolutely getting paid. Do you understand that the only reason you can say I have a stipend is because I'm honest? Does that mean he's honest?
Does it mean he's not?
Right. It doesn't. Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know. So
what I'm saying is,
that contribution.
Let's not worry about that.
Right. So this is what we need to tell the caller. That contribution is zero.
Yeah.
It makes no difference to the discussion.
Exactly. So let's make sure that we understand what we're talking about. Yeah.
Right. So on to the lady about the situation with the port, and I'm sure my colleague will give you some of the specifics. But I am so glad that she actually went in, because I wanted to ask her, but she covered it herself, and that was the reason why she's against the peers. Right? And on one hand, she said she's against the peers because she have observed that the people come on and they go right back on the ship. Legitimate concern. Okay? And then she also talked about, Caymanians paying and stuff for it. But we need to understand that the financing structure has and always will, arguably will be, that your cruise tourist is paying for it. The cruise ships pay for the piers. Even if you got an independent investor to go ahead and build the piers, you have government that says all we can give you as a guarantee, and I know this as a fact, they say the only thing I guarantee the government will give you is the same promise FCCA gives us, that they're going to give you X amount of cruise tourists per year, and even that has changed now. So the lady needs to understand, and anyone who has that concern, is that the cruise ships pay right now to help run the port. They pay the tenders, and just the same way they pay the tenders, they would be paying for the piers. This is not a debt that's going to fall on the Caymanian people like the schools and stuff that she mentioned. And let's just say you had a legitimate concern that the people will just simply go back on the piers and go back to the boat. When it comes to the number of cruise tourists, understand the government has the ability to put a cap.
Mm-hmm.
They could sit and say, we're not going to take anything more than 10,000 cruise tourists. Just because you got a super large ship don't mean nothing. The government could say one large ship and that's it. So those concerns can go away, because that is for our government, which is our representatives, can make that decision. And in the same thing, if our only legitimate concern against the piers is people coming on and not necessarily shopping, but simply going back on the ship, I believe that we can also come up with some intelligent and creative impediments that prevents and mitigates that as well.
Okay, Sterling?
Yes, sir, Joey. Yeah.
So I say what I had to say about Johan. Yeah. I'm not paid, but it has been alleged that I'm being paid.
Right.
Okay? And I ain't afraid I can show anyone my account. There ain't no money from that coming into my account. Okay? Yeah. I got my pensions, and that's it.
Yeah, when you said it, we believe it, man.
So that's that. The reason I am doing it is to help my own fellow Caymanians who depend on that for their living. And I will do that till the day I die.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. Anyway, to this lady whose concern was about debt. On the last occasion, and I have no reason to doubt that any government would try to do it any other way. On the last occasion, the cruise lines themselves, along with some financing off of First Caribbean Bank, were going to finance the building of the piers.
Mm-hmm.
And then to pay for it required X amount of passenger fees, so that there was nothing being paid for by Cayman government. There was no encumbrance on the property. So the piers were being built, the upland facility was built, which was all the shops. The Port Authority owned all of that property, collected all of that rent. Nothing goes to the cruise line from the rent. All Port Authority, which is then used to fund equipment for the cargo side. On top of that, they were going to pay the port fees, berthing fees, and government environmental protection fund fees. So it was all gravy to us. And I saw one of CPR 5 slides. Let me bring that up, which, because it addressed that same notion that they had on their very first of 5 slides. What's at stake? A cruise pier may sound like progress, but the truth is, most economic benefits will go to foreign companies, and our environment and reefs will suffer irreversible damage. The first point, economic benefits will go to foreign cruise operators. That wasn't the case the last time, and I have no doubt any future government would follow a similar model. So the cruise lines would bring X amount of passengers. They were spread across 4 ships a day, each day for the week, that you had a sustainable amount. And the fees from that is what repaid for the building of the piers and the maintenance of the piers, because you have to maintain them. So it was worked out, it was computed how much it would cost, and the fees would cover that. In addition to the fees to the port and the rental which the port got from the shops.
So with respect to that,
the economic benefits were all basically for Cayman.
Just before we go to the break, for clarity, there was some understanding, it seemed like, that the cruise line paid a certain sum to the port per passenger. That some of that money would have been diverted. You're saying that's not the case?
That was not the case.
So the government was still getting that same sum per passenger, and then there would be additional monies that the passengers would pay to build the pier. Is that what you're saying?
There were three types of fees.
Mm-hmm.
The port gets their fees. That was never interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
The port collects the rent, like they do right now,
Mm-hmm.
off of the rental facilities on the port.
Right.
So that would have been maintained, except we've got brand new buildings because you had to restructure the port. So
Right.
old ones come down, new ones go up. No cost to the port, no encumbrance on the port, no lien, no charge, no nothing.
Mhm.
Okay? Government gets a head tax
Mm-hmm.
and an environmental protection fund fee. So some of the government's head tax was going to go into the pot
To pay for the port.
to pay for it.
That's what I was
But
asking.
that was their.
So some of that money would be diverted then.
But but the environmental protection fund fee.
Didn't ask for that, but some of the head tax. So some of that would have been diverted.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was
but
all
nothing from the port.
And it was also one of the proposals at the time when I was involved that, again, even some of the monies that go to the tenders. At the time, I think it was around 4, now it's 5, 8 or something, whatever, per head.
Mm.
Again, some of those monies, arguable, and even maybe all of it, depending on the circumstance, would also go to pay for the piers. So the bottom line of it is the people of the Cayman Islands, you and I, our children, our grandchildren, will not be paying for the piers.
Mm.
Not 1 cent.
All right, let's pause and we take that scheduled break, take calls, and you guys, thanks for sharing your thoughts, right? For those listening, join us after.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Get your tickets now for Grand Cayman's biggest one-day family fun day, the 56th Annual Agricultural Show at the Stacey Wattler Agricultural Pavilion in Lower Valley. Ash Wednesday, March 5th. Raffle tickets are on sale now at eventpro.ky and include general admission to the show. Not one, but two $10,000 grand prizes. All the fun, all the entertainment, the food, the animals, the plants, and homemade goodies. Get your raffle tickets now at eventpro.ky. The 56th Annual Agricultural Show, Ash Wednesday, March 5th.
K-Man, could it be you? Tortuga's 10K giveaway is back, and someone's walking away with $10,000 in cash. Every time you spend $25 at Tortuga, in-store or online at tortuga.ky, you get a shot at winning big. As well as $10,000 in cash, we've got thousands in giveaways to hand out every week. Think staycations, the latest iPhones, exclusive experiences, and more. Get in to win. Visit tortuga.ky for the full terms and conditions.
Sale, sale, sale. Red Friday sale this Valentine's Day, February 14th at Reflection. Save on kids, men's and women's selected style shoes and sneakers. Brands like Nike, Puma, Reebok, and Dockers, 50% off. Adidas all collections at 60% off. Ladies jeans and select styles at 50% off. And ladies tops from $9.99. Men step out in Levi's $5.50. Now 25% off. All accessories and handbags now 50% off. Reflections, we love our customers and you love our prices. Shop the Red Friday sale this Valentine's Day at Reflections and be entered to win 2 Cayman Airways tickets.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And together with Joey Woods, you have Elio Solomon from ACT. Gents, there are a couple of calls as we go to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
I can get it back out.
Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello?
Hey, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I've been listening a little bit here, and it seems to me that a lot of info is being dispensed there today. And I wonder, with both sides being quite seems passionate about whether there should be a period or whether there should not be a period. Have those sides sat down and take a brown paper bag and draw a line down the middle of it and looked at the positives on one side and the negatives on the other side, maybe over a 25, 40-year period.
Very good question.
And see where the logic would lead.
Caller, if I could jump in, that's a very excellent comment / question. And let me say to you that ACT reached out. The moment I joined ACT, we reached out by the chairman or the chairperson. And she asked Sustainable Cayman and CPR if they would have a sit down. This would be a private discussion sitting around the table and trying to understand each person's or each group's concerns and being able to sit and logically discuss these things and address it. And they refused to meet with us, but they jumped on the Radio Cayman talk show the following day. And that has been done several times. In fact, even the Cayman Mar Road has asked CPR to meet with ACT and to debate this issue publicly. They have refused again. Now, of course, they make little excuses.
Huh? The minister asked them to.
The minister asked them as well. So this is the sort of things that the public needs to be aware of. If you have an argument or a discussion, let's not use the word argument. If you have a point, let's sit down publicly and discuss it so that people can hear both sides and hear things being addressed. But I think, quite frankly, that when you don't have a sound argument, the last thing you want is someone questioning you and pointing out the facts. They say nothing ruins a good argument like the facts. So what you prefer to do is find a little bush somewhere and throw stones where nobody can see you. And that is what, unfortunately, what, in my humble opinion, CPR and Sustainable Cayman is doing. But be fully cognizant that the minister, Cayman Mar Road, and ACT ourselves have asked them to have a sit down for the benefit of the country, benefit of the people, and let's have a discussion just as you have recommended. And they have refused on all 3 occasions.
Well, let me ask you another question. That ship that's in the harbor today, is that a mega ship?
I haven't seen the ship that's in the harbor, but I doubt it.
Well, I don't think that it doubts in my mind what I see up there today. But anyway.
Well, let's bear in mind, I heard someone call the show yesterday and talking about the huge size of the mega ships. Even the regular size ships, these are not small ships, and they've been coming to Cayman for years. And if you get up next to them, you know, they're bigger than any building you're going to see in Cayman.
Yeah,
so
very much so.
They're large.
And anyway, but I think there needs to be some clarity on both sides of this argument, because I think in one sense, if you go into this mass tourism, cruise tourism, I can't see how that is not going to affect the value or the attractability of the product that you have. Now, I think we still got a pretty good product here.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to what should I say, reduce in some way the attractiveness of your product, then,
But caller, I can tell that you're a very logical person. Let me just ask you one simple question. Do you know that we're getting now approximately 500 stay-over visitors every year? And do you know that what that amounts to? Do you know what that does? It increases the Cayman population pretty much permanently, because you have to remember, they all come on average of say 2 weeks. If 500,000 stay-over visitors in this country means that we have grown the population by 18,000 persons. Do the math. That is what we have done. You have increased the population in the country by 18,000. That means they never leave.
Before the call one, you said 500,000. 2 weeks average stay. Is that the average stay of a stay tourist? Not 4 to 5 days?
I don't think it's that much. I think it might come out more like 5 to 7 days.
Yeah,
okay. Go do your math and check it out.
But can I just address that question, which is good. I'm glad that people call me with those questions, because that has been tossed around numerous times, and people believe that when you get the mega ships, now all of a sudden you have a whole heap of people you never had before. On the last project, that wasn't the case. We knew that we could handle between 16,000 and 18,000 passengers per day comfortably, and that was the aim. The addition of the bigger ships didn't increase that
let's take
volume.
a pen. Let me ask you one question about that. When you say 18,000, are you saying 18,000 coming on a ship or 18,000 coming offshore?
On the ship per day.
Okay.
But 95
so
to 97.
They don't all come off.
Yeah, but 95 to 97% of them come off.
Okay. They don't all come off. I've been picked on the week, on 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, 95 to 97%. Each time that I did the survey, that's how much it came out to. Between 95 and 97%.
So how much we actually getting on shore then?
95 to 97% of...
Do the math.
Yeah, do the math.
I hope you give my number.
Having a mega ship didn't mean that it was increasing it beyond those numbers. All it meant was that we were going to have it distributed over each day of the week.
Mm.
That's what that meant. So at that time, the formula was one mega ship along with 3 of what we're currently getting.
And that's the point I was making earlier on. Again, the government decides. So you don't have to think that because we're talking about mega ships, it means all of a sudden you're going to go to a significantly larger number of people. The government will set it and say that they're comfortable with that 18,000 or whatever that number is.
But it got distorted. Got distorted.
Right.
And
let's make sure the call is still there. You still there, sir?
Yeah, well, I mean, has there been any figure set as to what would be a comfortable number of tour visitors per week or per day?
Not per week, per day is what you got to look at, what you can handle. And we can comfortably handle anywhere between 16 and 18,000. And when we have those, everybody goes home smiling.
Well,
and we've had those based on 6 and 8 ships before. We've had, that was our norm back in 2018, 2019. But we easily handle 16 to 18,000 every day.
And you say that you think that would be a comfortable number for what we got here?
Well, that was the aim, and that's what we had worked out when we were talking about the last project, that we would not increase the numbers beyond that. So 4 ships and between 16 and 18,000 passengers per day. So we weren't increasing the numbers. We were just having it consistently spread out every day of the week.
Yeah, one other question, because I think that this has come in, this has been an argument on both sides, talking about Caymanians' job in the tour or cruise industry. How many? Anybody got any idea how many jobs are in the cruise industry at this time?
The last number that was mentioned by ESO, I think that was in October of last year. They had it listed, and bear in mind, not all the surveys are probably completed, but the number mentioned then was 2,587, I think it was.
It was probably nearly double that in the
earlier
good
days.
years. Yeah.
Okay. How many Caymanians we got to fill those jobs?
Well, the vast majority of crews is Caymanians, because you have to be a Caymanian to be a taxi driver. You have to be a...
No. You know, we got X amount of jobs in the cruise industry, but how many of those jobs are filled by Caymanians?
I'm telling you that the vast majority is filled by Caymanians. It's Caymanian taxi operators and tour operators. It's even the big operators who might use expats. They're still owned by Caymanians. The water sports industry is mainly all West Bayers. And they hire other West Bayers, and they may hire some people on work permits too. But they are mainly Caymanians. Far more Caymanians than you will find in the stayover industry that's being touted by CPR and them as a sustainable alternative.
I was gonna say, if you want to go on a treasure hunt, go try find a Caymanian in the stayover business.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm telling you that the vast majority on the cruise side is Caymanians. And that's why I am vehemently in support of it.
Why don't somebody commission an audit where you can find out exactly what these levels are?
So if you go down to the port on any given day and look at the taxi operators, you know who's Caymanian. If you go down there and look at the water sports operators, the independent ones who are there picking up their passengers or even soliciting their passengers, they're all Caymanians.
Yeah.
Okay?
And to join,
no foreigner can go to the port and hustle for a fare for anything. You have to be Caymanian, and you have to have, in fact, you can't get your taxi license or your tour operator license without being Caymanian. You might get a tour driver license for a Cayman tour operator.
And to Joey's point, caller, I would encourage it, because I'm just like a lot of Caymanians. Before getting so intricately involved with this, I never really went down on the Royal Watler dock. I didn't really get into all of it. And so it's very easy for us that when we go to the airport and we see the line snaking and tourists suffering and heat and they can't get into the whatever, we right away say that this is not the way that we want to represent Cayman. Right away, because we understand it, we take the airport and we see it. And to Joey's point, I would encourage persons, I mean, when we have our public meetings, we try to show some of the cattle lines, and at the same time, go there and see the amount of Caymanians that are there, that are thriving and making money, at least used to, making real money out there on those piers. And this is one of the things that's hurtful for me, because it just seems to me that whatever industry Caymanians are in, that's the one that's challenged. I'm almost confident
and
that
now it's our own Caymanians fighting it down.
I'm almost confident that if I could replace cruise tourism tomorrow with pure foreign nationals, this argument would cease immediately.
Well, I ain't so sure of that.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
What I'm saying is that our own Caymanians are who's fighting down the one industry that is now mainly Caymanians.
Well, it seems that there's a lot of information that's under the leaves that needs to be unearthed and put on a table so that...
And that's why I so appreciate the questions you've asked today.
And
thank you so much.
But the difficulty is, caller, to your point earlier about getting the two groups together. You can't get it because you're having persons who are deliberately hiding behind the bushes and throwing stones. They don't want to sit there and have a discussion where the public can hear it and say, listen, I think I can make now an informed decision. But I want people to see it for themselves. Do not take my word. I'm telling you that CPR and Sustainable Cayman is giving you a lot of misinformation. Please take one day out of the week when a cruise ship or a couple of cruise ships are in. Go down there and see the line that those people have to face coming off the ship and on the ship. And really ask yourself, if this was my grandmother, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, whoever, is this really something that I would want them to be standing in? Is this the kind of first impression that we want to send to the world? There is no Caymanian, I believe, that I know that is about cleaning that front yard and putting the white sand and doing the best when your visitors come, that is going to support the port in the way that it is. And equally, when you get down there and you can see, as my friend said, especially a lot of West Bayers, who sit there, and you had the story written just a couple of days ago by Simon Boxall about a person who was utilizing drugs and could have been murdering and spending his life in prison, but instead now he's a successful business owner, owning his own buses, etc. And I think if Caymanians went down there and saw it, they would come to the reality, and we could stop fighting against ourselves.
Right.
We were there in the financial services industry. I remember the managers like Mr. Chisholm, Dwayne Ebanks, the list goes on, all gone. And it's the same thing that I am seeing right now with respect to cruise tourism. And I am confident that if you could change it out and you put down some Filipino, Jamaican, Spanish people, or a couple of white people, whatever it is, you fill that with foreigners, and this argument would cease right away.
But I think but hold on. In the financial services, the argument has been made that in the financial services there weren't. We did a poor job ensuring that Caymanians were elevated to the senior management position as we are now. And the handful you mentioned are still a relatively small number to those who otherwise, right? So we missed the boat there. We missed it now.
I'm gonna just finish this, but I mean, I'm gonna say this is that there were persons there and they're now out, and we hear our Caymanians complaining about the same thing, whether it's banking, whether it's the judiciary, it doesn't matter. You can't find a Caymanian. And what I'm trying to tell you is that one of the last places where Caymanians exist right now is in cruise tourism. And Carla, I'm not on a campaign because I'm not running, but when I brought jobs for Caymanians only, it was the same thing. The Compass wrote a big article against it. This was horrible, and the list goes on. Anytime I see something happening for Caymanians, there is a fight. You think if I had put down, when I gave the pensions to Caymanians only, it was a fight. But yet, several years later, they gave the pension to everybody now. Filipinos could get it, Jamaicans could get it, Canadian, English, no argument. And I'm going to continue to make it. I am telling you, I feel pretty confident. You want to see the fight against cruise tourism end? Hand it over to some foreigners and the argument will cease. We need to stand up for this.
Before we take the break, sir, anything else you want to share?
No, I just think that, like I said, there's a lot of information on the leaves that needs to be unearthed and put on the table where everybody can have a clear view of what it would mean over the next 25 to 40 years for the Cayman Islands community.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
thanks for that. Thanks
means
for that.
a lot of money.
Yeah, and as we go to the break, the Honorable Tourism Minister, Mr. Brian, has message to share. He'll send a voice note. He's in the Bahamas right now, he's saying, touring the cruise port. So we'll hear from him hopefully before the show ends.
Very good.
All right, we'll pause. When we come back, we'll take the calls.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Britke. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Sale, sale, sale. Red Friday sale is Valentine's Day, February 14th at Reflection. Save on kids, men's and women's selected style shoes and sneakers. Brands like Nike, Puma, Reebok, and Dockers, 50% off. Adidas all collections at 60% off. Ladies jeans and select styles at 50% off. And ladies tops from $9.99. Men step out in Levi's $5.50. Now 25% off. All accessories and handbags now 50% off. Reflections, we love our customers and you love our prices. Shop the Red Friday sale this Valentine's Day at Reflections and be entered to win 2 Cayman Airways tickets.
Hi, I'm Deputy Governor Franz Manderson, and I'm happy to announce the annual DG's 5K Challenge is fast approaching. Join us in Little Cayman on March 9th, Cayman Brac on March 16th, and Grand Cayman on March 30th for this exciting event. This year, we're proudly supporting the Cayman Islands Girls Brigade, the Cayman Islands Scouts Association, and the One-to-One Foundation, organizations dedicated to making a positive difference in the lives of our next generation. For more info on how to register, find us on Facebook at DG's 5K Challenge.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and to Elio Solomon and Joey Woods for joining us as members of ACT. Gents, as we continue the discussion, we got a few things we want to ask, but we want to welcome our callers as well. Hey, thanks for calling. Yeah, hello.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Hello, just fine, thank you. I didn't know if I was on or not. I've been waiting for 20 odd minutes, but that's fine. That's fine. I understand.
All things good is worth wait.
Very good to hear Mr. Elio on there.
I miss you too.
Thank you, sir.
Very, very well. I know him, Joey. Wonderful person.
Thank you, sir.
Very, very nice, decent man. I found him to be. Both of them.
I know you're not excluding me from that, though.
Yeah, no, you won't.
Okay.
Well, wonderful to hear you all.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
I just want you to know I used to look forward to hearing your voice in the mornings when I was on Rooster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every time I call, I'm putting my little job at risk.
Yeah.
I don't mind. At my age, it no longer matters to me. But just as you said, whatever is good for Caymanian
You're right there.
people. I'm going to say something now, and I won't dwell on that very long. I found Mr. Markson, very knowledgeable, very popular man, and I guess he's very highly paid in this profession, etc. But I found him to be closest to the definition of being omniscient of any person I've ever met, or ever seen, or ever known, or ever heard. If you can touch that nomenclature to him, omniscient. Never want. No, I won't go along with that. Go on with that. I venture to say. You're quite right. Not going to answer anything they're not saying. The whole thing is, if a person, just as Mr. Joey was saying, you don't go down there, you don't know, if you don't know about that cruise industry, being involved in it or something, you really don't know it. If you've never talked with people in it and watched it daily, we need to build the pier. Whether you think Georgetown is not the perfect place for it, we all know that. But right now, we've got no choice, and it can be done. There are things that move forward with designs and engineering that can mitigate many things over the last
Thank you.
years.
Correct.
And where we have the ships out there now, we've got to think about it. Many times those ships, Mr. Wood will notice, are at engine, those big ships, to hold them steady.
The thrusters.
And you don't see no silt stirred up there.
Right. No, if you don't hear any mention about that, if not, those ships moving, that's a wall of steel, giant wall of steel. What we have here are very, very big ships right now.
Yeah.
As one of you said, they're big ships. They're not baby things. They dwarf any building in Georgetown from where Superior live. They block out the whole of Georgetown. When two of them are there, you can't see anything. Right to Sound Point, this is Southwest Sound, really. South Sound is. There are other sounds along the south coast, but that's Southwest Sound. So it tells you they have to do that so they don't smash those tenders. Many times those tenders coming in would get smashed. That's a danger no one wants to talk about. But another thing is that the many people, many of the great percentage of people you hear on it, that's the manifest quantity, and I believe the government charges per head on the manifested quantity.
That's correct,
Not
sir.
on the disembarked people.
That's correct.
Our government. The other governments in the other islands, I believe, in the cruise ship industry, they charge for the disembarked passengers. I believe that's what they charge per head on the disembarked.
I couldn't answer that one, but I think most of them are now charging based on the manifested passengers because that's easier.
Oh, yes, could be, yes.
But Cayman charges on manifested passenger.
But the point is this. Many of those people would come off. As you know, Mr. Joey, many don't. One of the reasons is that they don't want to tender. I can tell anyone that. A lot of the people who are coming off now, I've done it now for nearly 19 years straight. They are older people. If you take you don't have to have a go around and sit down and scrutinize them. I can see that. I deal with it daily. That they're older people and they don't want, and many of them have infirmities and
they can't handle
are
it.
handicapped in many ways.
And they get a little nervous with it.
It's dangerous for them. And also, one of the major things is they don't have the time to do the shopping they could do if you had the piers, because all you're hearing, we've got to get back to the last
Correct.
tender. Back to the last tender. We've got to get back to the tender. And they're being rushed by the tour drivers. Can't blame them on things, but they got the receipt every day.
Because they know that long line is there. It's a big wait.
Right. So, gents, and thanks very much, sir. And with great respect to the caller and both you, our news and then callers, we also have a voice note from the Honorable Tourism Minister to share as well.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market. The mental health of Cayman kids will take center stage this month as the Alex Panton Foundation hosts the 8th Annual Youth Mental Health Symposium. This year's theme is Turning the Tide Together, Providing Hope for Our Youth. To register for the free event, head to alexpantonfoundation.ky. The symposium is February 15th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can also stay updated about the event via the Alex Panton Foundation social channels and the website. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, a Russian drone attack has hit the radiation shelter protecting Chernobyl's damaged nuclear reactor. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said the overnight strike at the nuclear plant, which is the site of the world's worst nuclear accident, caused a fire that has since been extinguished, he added. As of this morning, however, radiation levels inside and outside of Chernobyl remain normal and stable according to the UN's nuclear watchdog, the IAEA. Russia has denied any claims it attacked Chernobyl. And Hollywood may be known as Tinseltown, a dream factory at the heart of the global entertainment industry. But nowadays, crews are more likely to film in Atlanta, London, Toronto, or Sydney than in Los Angeles. Cheaper labor and better tax breaks have lured producers away from the City of Angels for years. The wildfires, however, which killed at least 29 people and destroyed thousands of houses, have only added to this existential crisis. Now, many are calling on the state and studios and streaming services to boost local production. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And we have in the studio Elio Solomon and Joey Woods, and we're going to just take a second to play a voice note for the Honorable Tourism Minister. And that was the tourism minister, as
Yeah.
he shared.
Yeah.
Woods.
Yeah, so well, the last time they were doing it along with First Caribbean Bank, and if you had Caymanians replacing what was then the bank financing, then yes, they would benefit from that, and it goes on for.
As the minister said, he would explain that, I guess, when he either come on the show or joins me start.
Well, I did mention something similar to that at one of our meetings, and of course, persons know me in relation to the pension. I'm proud to say the first person to allow Caymanians to invest their pensions in real estate. And at least when I checked last, almost 2,000 persons had benefited from that. I don't think anything should be different with respect to that. When I was in government, they talked about selling off the water authority. I said the same thing then. Let the pensioners buy it. Have the pleasure of knowing every time they turn the tap on, flush the toilet, they're making $1. I think the same thing can be done with the piers.
For the piers and the cruise port, before we take off, what's the plan now? And where is it going? How much is it going to cost? Who's going to do it? Is any of that on the table?
Okay. No. We're speaking based on the last project.
Mhm.
Right now, they're only asking, should we proceed with it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so that's where it is now. Just asking, do you agree with it? Shall we continue with it? Is it worthwhile doing? And it definitely is. What we're speaking about now is based on the information we've had from the last project, and that's where I can say that yes, it's a good thing for Cayman.
Right.
Knowing full well that any future project will more likely follow those same paths and lines.
Right.
Yeah, I would say, I just want to jump in to supplement what he has said. I think if you look at the situation as it relates to the piers, there's at least been 2 formal plans that I'm aware of. And all of them were incorporating the whole idea of the piles or the pylons, right? So it's the same concept. And I know that's become now another one of the arguments, one of the many stones being thrown by the CPR and Sustainable Cayman, is that you can't vote for something you don't know. Well, first of all, there seems to be this legacy of distrust against this government or any government. And let me just say something. If you were, in fact, to be putting the PPM's proposal on the table, which I thought was a very good proposal, by the way, let's just say you put that. And based on that, in this government-initiated referendum, people say no. Well, you would technically be giving the government out. Because it would mean that any government would have the right to say, yeah, the people voted down that. They didn't vote down that we can't build the piers. So we can come now with a different proposal, and we can do that one. Whereas if the question that is as broad as it is right now, which is why one can say it's good and one can say it could be potentially very bad, because this one is a steering one. It's a very broad one that says, do we want piers? Do we want berthing facilities? In other words, do you want to stay in the cruise industry? And that's what the government is looking for, is a steer in a direction to say, tell us, do you want to stay in this industry? Because if you want to stay in this industry, you're going to need to build piers.
Joey, we do have some calls, but Joey?
Yeah. And the other thing is, I mean, when you're, even CPR number now saying, oh, well, we're not against cruise. The question is simply, should we stay in it? The answer is yes. It's benefiting Caymanians. It's one of the only industries with Caymanians. But if you look at what our current infrastructure is like, it's deplorable. You have South Terminal that's been there from the late 70s, early 80s. Okay? It can handle 300 persons if you're not even segregating people into tour groups. But 300 people max. And you're putting 2 tenders with 500 people there. You have no parking space. You have nothing. In the evening when 3,000 people come back, they're all lined up on the sidewalks. I mean, lucky we haven't reached a stage that some other countries have, and we got people with walk minds. But if you got a couple of thousand people on the sidewalk and somebody has a wicked idea, you know what that could cause? It could kill the whole, not just cruise tourism industry, kill the whole tourism industry completely. You got to start thinking these facilities really need improvement, and you need to provide safer and better facilities. Next one is North Terminal. That was built for 500 people, but we're pushing 1,000 people through it. And of course, the lines snake right back around the terminal again. Royal Water can hold the passengers, but again, you're limited to how many tenders you can put there, 4 tenders. And likewise, you use the cargo dock for parking. you got to use that for parking for all of them because there's none nowhere else. So people cannot disagree that what we have now is totally unusable and not appropriate for what, and not fit for purpose for what we're using it for, and it needs to be enhanced. If you're going to enhance it, the best thing to do is to go to berthing, because then you eliminate tendering, you eliminate anchoring, and there's no damage really to the environment. That was substantiated in the EIA study that was done. That EIA study is publicly available on DOE's website. So even when they're saying, oh, you didn't share that information with us, that was on DOE's website forever.
Did that study also indicate that there is coral out there now?
Well, we even sent persons over there to dive. We've shown it at our meetings so people could actually get a visual of what's out there. I just wanted to comment very quickly on the macro perspective, which I think is important. There is a price when we don't act, and I want to let the public know. And again, I was paid at the time as a representative. I was actually paid, but the bottom line of it is that Chris Bryant from the UK sent a letter to Cayman Islands government, and it basically said that we want you, because we were in a tough financial time, and I guess the UK thought they had us where they wanted us to be, and so they said, we want you to implement a 2% tax. And this was why you heard, amongst other things, the government at the time running around talking about a community enhancement fee and all kinds of stuff. But naturally, we fought it, and we came out on top that we didn't have to do it, because if we had to implement that property tax, it would mean that every person listening to me now that has a home or wants to own a home would probably be paying at least around $5,000 to $7,000 to the government every year. And if you don't make the payment, you lose your house, you lose your property. I want people to understand that if we don't build this pier, you can potentially end up in the same position that a tax will have to be implemented. Government is, we talk about the wanton disregard and the spending of government money, et cetera, et cetera. Turtle Center, for example, is just one institution that government funds in the millions of dollars. We eat our turtle meat there, and it's one of those things we're proud about as an attraction. There is no way, and 60% of the revenues to the Turtle Center comes from cruise tourism. You cannot remove 60% of the revenues from any business and the business be around, or definitely not going to be around in the way that it is right now. And that's just one business, and you can keep multiplying it out. He talked earlier on about the fact that, it supplements the funding for the port, for the cargo port. So our environmental fees go in terms of purchasing land. It helps the government budget. So the same departments that are protecting the environment are probably funded other things like that as well. So when you don't act and you lose that money, I want persons to know that potentially you will probably end up with another Chris Bryant writing another letter. In this particular time, you may not be able to escape, saying implement the taxes.
All right. You're going to use...
So your question about the coral, right? You might have a patch here and a patch there and stuff like that, but the vast majority of it is near the shore. And that, when I was there, we got together with DOE, and that became a marine park. It was no longer part of the designated anchorage area for the port. It's in the port regs, and you can look, the rezoning of that is in there. If you go on DOE's map that you can pull up on your phone, you will actually see that section by the shore is all protected. Yes, you might have patches here. When you're going to build a house, you might have a piece of land full of trees. Do you need to clear all the trees? No. But you clear just what you need. And hopefully you build a house in the most appropriate place where you have the least amount of clearing to do.
All right. Final break, gents, and then we'll go there.
And all I was saying was this. The cruise pier was to be built on pilings in the designated port anchorage area where ships will anchor and can anchor anywhere.
Right.
There's nothing that can be done if they anchor and it destroys any coral in that area. It's a designated anchorage area. If you have a port, you must have a anchorage.
Well, I want to add something there, and Joey can tell me if I'm right, because I'm pretty sure I heard him say it. I keep hearing him coming on to the program saying that, this is a beautiful area and everybody wants to go diving there, but you can't dive there.
You can't dive there.
What port, first of all, what port authority is going to let you be diving where you have tenders and big, large ships running up and down, back and forth? But they come right on this program and every program and go on challenge to the fact that they go diving there every day and how pristine it is. Please let the public know, Joy, about the diving.
There's no diving in the harbor where those ships are anchored. You have, like I said, the place where we gave to the UA as a marine park. People snorkel that, and there are markers to indicate this is where this ends. You don't trespass into that. There's a requirement in the port law. If you want to do any in-water activity, you have to call port security for it. The other thing they talk about is Eden Rock. Eden Rock was another segment that we carved out for them.
To the southwest.
And people snorkel that too, but they don't go where the port anchorage is. Right. If you go there, you can become mincemeat.
Yeah. All right, with that, quick break, and then we sing.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
The Cayman Islands Fire Service will be commencing comprehensive fire safety inspections across all public occupancy buildings. These inspections are in accordance with the Fire Safety Code and are critical in maintaining a safe environment. We appreciate the cooperation of all business owners, property managers, and the general public in this important initiative. Together, we can prevent fire-related incidents and enhance the overall safety of our community. For more information on the Fire Safety Code and what to expect during the inspections, please contact the Cayman Islands Fire Service Fire Prevention Unit at 949-2499 or email us at firesafetyinspections@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Well, Mike, thank you very much for joining us, and certainly a discussion we should have again. But with 8 minutes left and a number of callers, perhaps we can see if we can get them to be as succinct as possible. First to the WhatsApp. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. Hey, afternoon, and thank you for calling. Apologies if there's been a delay in getting to you, and a humble request to see if we can get everybody before we close up. Right.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Caller, the only thing I would say is that the only thing I would mention is that I think he said that there were like 4 persons on. So I would say you probably just got enough time to go ahead and make your points.
Or questions.
Or questions, yeah. But feel free. He's the talk show host.
4:30 this afternoon. Austin will be there.
Yeah. You coming on mine too?
I'll be there, man. Yeah. Sorry, sir. Sorry. Just one quick. Miss Susan, we're getting messages from callers, from listeners who say they can't hear the caller.
Check it out.
We are hearing you, sir. And,
Yeah, we're hearing you.
But we get messages from a number of people now who are saying they can't hear the caller.
I can't fix that.
No, that's not on your end, sir. I just wanted you to know that that's what we were getting as we shared it with her. All right, but we listening to you.
Yeah. Well, that's no good if they can't hear me unless you want me to try the other line. But
yeah, well, you are right because you're speaking not just to us, to others. So maybe we can reconvene and invite these gentlemen back on again and see if we can do what we tried.
Pity you didn't call earlier.
Well, they might not hear him, then you do.
I don't know.
All right. You're welcome to talk to us if you wish, but if you wanted to hear the audience, we just want you to know.
No. Useless if it's no. I actually turned my radio on and I can hear myself, so it's going out.
All right, good.
So
That's
in a nutshell, the former tourism minister, Mr. Thomas Jefferson, got certified, and it was as a result of him getting certified that he became very passionate and he understood what the good Lord blessed us with in terms of our underwater world, and I remember that he was a strong proponent for wanting to put those permanent tourism anchorage for the tourism for the cruise ships. I never understood why that never happened. Perhaps Mr. Wood has more clarity. I don't know what took place, but the fact is that we don't have. The fact is that we don't have them. The point that I want to make in regard to that as a starter is that we don't have the benefit of many other islands in regards to our environment. And having become a certified diver, because I worked at the Department of Tourism, I also became very passionate about our underwater. We have some 365, as I recall, identified dive destinations around, many of which are in the harbor. I remember as a little boy growing up in Northwest Point on the seaside, for many days, my mother's room faced the sea, and I remember looking out on the bed wondering, why are these people with these tanks on the back of their backs going on the water? Why? You know, the good Lord would have it so I didn't know the destiny that I would become certified and can appreciate it. I start there because we seem to have forgotten where we come from in so many respects. And so my thrust about being although many of the things that you all just talked about right there a while ago, I could speak to, has to do with how we've gotten it all so wrong in so many places and how we're just so willing to discard what we do have. No, Mr. Wood, nobody was purporting, or Mr. Solomon was purporting going diving where the cruise ships dock at 100 feet. The dive sites that are in the harbor are along the shores, as we know, in Eden Rock and Devil's Grotto. If you've never dove it and gone through the canyons there, don't speak it down. It is amazing.
Those were never intended to be touched at all. So I don't know how those come up, but those were not ever part of the cruise port.
Let me finish. You all brought it up, which leads to my next point. My next point is this. You're talking, and I'm so glad that Sterling asked that question about, what plan, how you're able to speak to a plan when this is about a vote. But you're speaking everything you spent the better half of 2 hours sharing with the audience, sharing with the Cayman public, the voting public, about the benefits of having a cruise tourism port in Georgetown Harbor, and for that reason, for me alone as well, I will be voting no, because I understood that this was about having a peer, and so I'm not paid by anybody. I'm a voter.
Neither am I, sir.
To analyze that you are. Yeah, so I didn't say you were. So I'm just merely making that point because it was brought up in an earlier one. So I'm very passionate about this. I have no axes to grind, except that I am very passionate about the fact that we have an amazing harbor, an amazing space that we've identified as a harbor. So why not off Turtle Farm? Why not off Spots? We're not talking about that. What about the environmental impact assessment that was purported when we brought this up a few years ago, where people were concerned about whether the port and the flow of water, or the building of those piers and the flow of water and the flow of sand would impact 7 Mile Beach? Do we know that definitively that wouldn't happen?
That's correct. The studies show that wouldn't happen. But what I want to ask you too is think about Turtle Farm and think about Spots. I mean, there are many aspects and many things you got to think about when it comes to building a pier, but the harbor where ships constantly anchor don't you think that would be more damaged than down by Turtle Farm where no ships anchor, or even spots where no ships anchor?
But
so which one you prefer to damage more? One that's already damaged or one that's not damaged yet?
So the waters off of Spots and off of Turtle Farm, as I understand it, certainly haven't fished on there many days of my life. Turtle Farm, you only need to go to a few yards before you get very deep water. So the impact there from an environmental standpoint is very little, as I understand it. Now, I don't know how that would be built because you're going into the drop off, but like Mr. Hurlston said, there's great advancements in terms of building things, and I'm sure we wouldn't be the first in terms of building things. But that ain't.
But in that case, sir, Georgetown is a perfect place then, because it doesn't have pristine coral like Turtle Farm would have, and neither Spots. In fact, we stopped ships from anchoring Spots, where Spots Jetty is. We stopped cruise ships from anchoring there decades ago now, because we didn't want to damage the coral. So Georgetown has the least impact of all of them. And if you got the new technology that would make it suitable for Turtle Farm, it would be even more suitable for Georgetown Harbor.
The impact on a space like Turtle Farm would be minimal because there's no coral to destroy. In fact, the dive sites are not even off of Turtle Farm. The dive sites actually start a little bit, if you're familiar with Northwest Point, they actually start a little bit around where the former Dolphin Point used to be, which is where my family house used to be.
You have no dive sites in the harbor itself, other than those that are near shore, and they're not dive sites.
Yeah, but that's but one point that I'm trying to make in terms of us understanding the environment and that's the bigger point that I'm trying to get at. I also
Caller, what Mr. Woods is telling you is that you have had two consecutive governments, at least that I'm aware of, that has spent already collectively probably around $4 million of the taxpayers' money and got professionals. Not persons guessing, licking a finger to the wind. Professionals that have looked at it, analyzed it, and made the decision that the best place to build a port is in Georgetown, which actually happens to coincide with our forefathers' decision.
I don't remember seeing any of that in our forefathers' decision.
You can do an FOI.
It was blessed to win. Blessed to win.
That's one of the reasons.
And it was kind of a natural. It was kind of a natural carve out. But I also wanted to ask about the numbers that Mr. Wood shared earlier. He talked about the fact that if we built a pier, we would be having somewhere around 14 to 18,000, I think he said, in terms of if we limited it to 2 or 4 ships. So I did the math.
16 to 18.
Since you talk about doing the math. Yeah, 16 to 18. I did the math, and I did that, say, on an average of 5 days a week of cruise ships times 12 months. And I came out somewhere around $1 million. And I asked, I find that interesting only because recently there was a post going around by someone who was sharing about the fact that our numbers were falling. And I said to him, well, we're getting there. $1 million now is not enough. And he said, no, it's not enough. So if we go by what you're saying in terms of the pier and how much the capacity of the pier, if you were to build it, and I thought it was only going to hold 2, then you're coming up with near $1 million. Are you able to guarantee that if we built the pier, we would have to stop, we're not going to have any more ships anchoring, or are we going to still have 2 and 3 ships anchoring?
No ships would be anchoring. We would have no more than 4 ships that can berth beside the piers.
Wow. You know what? I know that it's time sensitive. There's so much to be said. There's so many other questions that I have. I'll leave it there.
Encourage you when we come on.
Call Elio this evening.
Yeah, you can call me
Elio
too.
this evening on his talk show.
Let's let the caller on. Finish up, sir. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me finish. I'll say this. I'll say where I started. The Caymanian people, and you know who you are, and you know from whence we came if you're a certain age. We've got it wrong in so many instances. And I am not saying that we don't need to be able to support our tourism industry and certainly our cruise industry, but I am a strong believer that putting any piers in our downtown harbor and destroying our natural vista there and what we have there is but one more of those greatest mistakes, man.
Well, there's no destruction intended for Georgetown Harbor. In fact, piers will enhance it, not destroy it.
Well, I'm always engaging with our listeners and our guests. do we have time to take anything else, Miss Susan, or do we got to exit as normal? Yeah, no, I think there was the voice there was heard, Miss Susan, by the listeners. It was just the caller that they couldn't hear, partially.
Someone told me they didn't hear what the minister had to say as well.
Yeah, well, maybe you know what? Let me hold.
Play it another day.
She got played again.
Yeah.
Play it again, Sam.
Good afternoon, Dwayne Sterling. This is Minister Kenneth Bryan, and good afternoon to your guests in the studio, Mr. Elio Solomon and Mr. Joey Woods, and to the greater listening audience of Radio Cayman and Miss Susan in the back. I'm actually in Bahamas at the moment, just doing last bit of wrap-ups for work business for the ministry at the Roots Conference Americas. I'm trying to secure some more airlines flying into Cayman for the tourism product. And I had the opportunity to also tour the cruise pier facility here in Bahamas. I must say I was quite blown away by the offerings that was created over the last couple of years. But one thing I found quite interesting as I was listening to you guys as well while I'm doing work about this discussion, which is something that the government will be promoting more heavily in the coming weeks, is that the director of the port said they created a fund where the Bahamian people could buy into, and they own up to 51% of the investment. And they've done so well, they've been able to do a $12 million dividends payout for this year. And the good people of Bahamas is going to get 51% of that just by creating the fund to help develop the cruise facility. And when I think about stuff like that, I just say, what a great opportunity. We always talk about Cayman Investment Fund. If the people of the Cayman Islands decide that they want to do this, it could be a great investment opportunity for people's pensions, people's savings, or just an investment retirement plan, something for your grandkids, because a pair with our growth in the Cayman Islands over the time, whether it's slow or large, regardless, you're going to have growth in Cayman, and you'll always need docking infrastructure to sustain that. And it's a no-lose investment, in my humble opinion. And I just see such a great opportunity outside of the cruise tourism industry and those persons who depend on it. But even if you're not involved in cruise tourism, it could be a great opportunity for investment, no different than investing in roads or any other kind of infrastructure, or water authority, or even like CUC. So if we think about it from a funding perspective in respect to that, because I know you guys were talking about funding, it'd be something great to consider. I look forward to being back home this evening to talk more about this on Radio Cayman next week. But I just thought I'd give you guys that input while you're having the discussion. Thank you. Bye.
All right, thanks. And I know some heard it, and those online, some may not. So just want to ensure that they were able to hear it. Want to take the rest of the calls with Susan? I'm happy to do it. Let's go. Permission and explanation. Let's go to the phones. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello?
Yeah. Welcome.
Mr. Dwayne.
Hey, what's happening, man?
Oh, yeah, man. Sorry. I didn't know if I was on or not.
You are now, man. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, getting very interesting. That's all.
Always, man. Always.
Always. So, to the guests, right? Let's ask them something really quick. Let's see how sure they are about what they're trying to, try to bring to the Cayman Islands. What would happen again if COVID come again? What you would do then if you got this period and you can't do nothing, all the tourist ship gone again? So, what you would do then? Would you take the blame for spending all that money and having a pier destroy our harbor and this and that? Would you take the blame? Because you said you were getting paid before. Now you're not getting paid. So.
And I'm not really sure. I think you might be bringing two different things together. But let me ask you a quick question. What do you think happens to the cruise tourism industry if you have COVID again?
It shuts down.
Okay. And then how was the port was supposed to be financed through, in this particular case, cruise tourists? So you're saying what's going to happen to the pier?
Yeah. Would you take the blame when when you see like, oh well, we shouldn't have really spent all this money, would you?
Well, what we mentioned earlier on is that whether you have.
No, sir. I asking you, would you stand up and take the blame for that?
But there wouldn't be anything to take blame for.
Go in debt for it.
We wouldn't be in debt. There was no debt to the Cayman government, no debt to the port.
This is what I'm saying to you. We said it from earlier on.
But did you miss the report yesterday when they said that the tourism funds is badly managed? Did you not hear that?
That's the problem. You're listening to the wrong people, sir. Sorry. You're listening to the wrong people. That wasn't how the last project was, and I doubt it'll be how the next project would be done. It was all done, financed by the cruise lines. That's the last one. Whether you want to finance it by the cruise lines or whoever, it was financed by them, and it was repaid from the fees from cruise passengers. There was no liability to Cayman whatsoever. So if there's COVID and it shuts down, well, we haven't put any money in. We haven't lost any money.
Right.
So again. So I might be listening to the wrong people. So who you listening to when we had the last referendum on the cruise port, and we said no, we didn't want it? Why you coming back again and you're trying to like?
Well, first of all, caller, there wasn't any referendum held before, so that's an error.
And I've always been on the side of the Cayman people, the hard-working, honest Cayman people who earn a living from the cruise industry. And I have never been on the next side, and I'll never be on the next side.
And the reason why we have this knowledge is because both of us has played a role in the government directly in the whole idea and concept of constructing the piers. That's why we have that knowledge.
Yep.
We're not on the outside guessing how it works.
Or telling you someone else.
Right.
All right. Thanks for the extra minutes.
Thank you for
let's
calling.
Take the next call. Thank you very much, sir. As we take quickly this next call.
Hello, sir. Dwayne.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, my brother. Thank you. Now, I'm not going to be long at all. All I want to say is that I neglected some very important things I had to do just to sit in my car and listen to most of the discussion. My friend, Mr. Elio Solomon, a gentleman I have the very highest regard for. I was so happy when I heard his perspective, which coincides directly with mine. I mean, I didn't have the knowledge that he has, but I agree with everything he said virtually. Right? And I don't know the other gentleman, but some of the thoughts they shared were my thoughts, very much so.
Well, we thank you for your compliment, and he's a wonderful person as well, and very intelligent and knowledgeable on the issue.
Well, thank you for that. Endorsement of your your co-host or whatever. Now.
And I can only compliment you as well and say that you're showing how intelligent you are, that you have reached the same conclusion, sir.
All right.
Gentleman and a scholar.
Yeah. Hello?
Oh.
How are you doing?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you now.
Okay. I want to agree with the gentlemen that are there, Elio and Joey Wood. Am I on yet?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay.
We lost one caller, but you're on, yes.
Okay. And I just wanted to say that I agree with you totally because I went to the FCCA meeting in Cozumel, and they told us the same thing. They would put up the money, and they would collect that money from the port charges. So there's no money being loaned out by any bank that the government has to pay. It has nothing to do with that.
Right.
And also at the same time, I mean, what we're really worried about, it seems like nobody cares, is what do we do this year when the months that are following after May, June, July, August, all the way through October, where the business is going to be so low that nobody's going to make anything. How are these people who have, husbands, wives, children, going to school, having to pay all these bills, how are they going to make it? Well, I got a great idea. What we're being paid or being offered is $1,500 a month, per tourism person. And then at the same time, when you multiply all of that and you come up to it, it's actually cheaper to build the dock. It really is. Because if you're talking $1,500, times 1,500 people, you're talking double digits in money here, which was 20. I think it was 21 million. I just did it here before. I don't want to waste a lot of time here. But when I made this idea come out for for people to understand. We would end up after 20 years with 540 million CI dollars. We ain't going to spend that amount of money to build 2 piers. It's just not even thinkable at that point.
Yeah.
What do we do? How do we solve this problem?
Right. Well, a
Caller,
good question.
thank you for
that.
calling.
And gents, thanks for accommodating us for a few extra and for us being able to do so. Closing thoughts.
Dwayne, I want to say that I want to encourage persons that are listening to the program. If they listen, they will be able to hear that my colleague and I came on here today and that we offered up factual information. We gave you the numbers and we told you precisely what's going to happen. And with the greatest of respect to those on the opposing side, I think what I would ask you to acknowledge is that a lot of them are speaking out of a position of fear. This going to go around, that's going to go around. Even one of the last callers again talking about what's the situation is going to happen in the harbor. And it's very clear. The government has spent around $4 million doing EIAs. And all of the experts are saying nothing's going to happen. And I guess they only spent all that money to concrete exactly what our forefathers knew when they built the cargo dock. But I want to say that the Bible says, that I give you not a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. We shouldn't operate out of fear. We need to operate out of facts. And so I want to encourage you, Dwayne. I think, like I said, the minister has requested it. ACT requested it. CMR requested it. Maybe you can request again that Sustainable Cayman and CPR will not throw rocks.
But you're assuming that hasn't happened, right?
Maybe you have. But I guess in a public way, if you have, to say, listen, rather than throw stones from behind the bushes, come out, let's have a discussion, have a roundtable discussion so that the people can hear this issue ventilated in a very civil and in a public way so that they can make an informed decision. I thank you very much for bringing us on this program, Dwayne. And like I said, not just because you're my good friend and I love you, but you do an excellent job as usual. So we thank you very much for bringing us on the program.
All I want to say, Dwayne, is that people have pushed the fear mongering part that the environment is going to be damaged, but the even more important part they've left out, and that's that the Caymanian people are going to be hurt even more if they lose cruise tourism. These are ordinary Caymanians. Many have earned their complete livelihoods off of cruise, and many more would like to get into it when they finish school, but they won't have that opportunity. Voting no means that you're voting against the future of Caymanians. So I want to ask people, forget about the fear mongering, but vote for what's in Cayman's best interest, and that's its people's best interest. Vote yes for the cruise referendum.
Right. Jess, thanks very much. And
right.
We'll have continued discussion. Invitation and ask is Monday morning. You join Mr. Orit for the record. 4:30. Straight talk. Nah, don't follow their buzz, boys. They didn't make nice kidney.
You're talking about the Straight Talk program that occurs from Monday through Friday from 4:30 to 6:30 and 89.1.
We'll send you a bill. Have a wonderful, safe, and enjoyable weekend. My prayer is that as a people we start to understand the importance of not just being factual but be purposeful. And through our discourse, we have a space that we can agree with respect. We be responsible in our efforts. On Monday, it'll be another day, but let's enjoy these two. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care,